Technology has always brought man to the front of a new era. Old religions die and new religions are born. And now we all have arrived at a turning point in history. Folks, we are about to be plugged into the Matrix for real. I'm not kidding. You can look around you and see it happening in real time.
What has gone from the drawing board to the reality is this: the use of neural interfacing and physiological interfacing through the idea of remote-controlled small-scale systems to create a nanoswarm of biopenetrable materials that you cannot see, that can penetrate all but the most robust biochemical filters, that are able to integrate themselves through a variety of membranes, mucous membranes, and wherever, mouth, nose, ears, eyes, and they can be done in such a level that their presence is almost impossible to detect, and as such the attribution becomes exceedingly difficult to demonstrate. The idea here is to read and write into the brain function in real time, remotely. Take a look. This is the front of my pen. This amount of nanomaterial, if be able to maintain and sustain with regard to its deliverability and aerosolization, could in fact affect all of you.
So you can think of the neocortex actually as a massive grand piano, million-key grand piano. Each of these neocortical columns would produce a note. You stimulate it, it produces a symphony. But it's not just a symphony of perception. It's a symphony of your universe, your reality.
Today, people want to kick out this reality and usher in a new reality. A world where you can be who you want, do what you want, to who you want, without the interference or consequence of morality or God.
See, nanocells are real small. 1,000 times smaller than these dust particulates. You inhale it, they go to work, replicating, spreading like a virus, multiplying in exponentials. 6 months' time, I could have 100 million people converted, ditch diggers, porn stars, and presidents. Not one would be the wiser. 100 million people will buy what I want them to buy and do pretty much damn well anything I figure they ought to do.
The movie The Matrix was just a tale of science fiction, yes, but it is beginning to look more like a documentary every day. Now, some may scoff at this idea and say, "You're just fear-mongering. It's not going to happen. You conspiracy theory nut." Well, I may be a nut, but there is no conspiracy when the information is made public to you. That's just you not being aware of it. So we are going to take a closer look at this, because right now, something is happening that you may not be aware of. A sentient simulation of our world in real time. No, this is not a video game, folks. But for those who think it is, I have a question. Are you ready, player one?
What if this is a video game? What if we are game characters? And if they've developed the singularity, which means they can produce machines that are able to self-learn, that become self-aware, you know, maybe consciousness isn't that special. Maybe a machine can have consciousness, maybe a program can have consciousness.
Remarkably, this is precisely what is happening. It is called the Sentient World Simulation. The program's aim, according to its creator, is to be a continuously running, continually updated mirror model of the real world, complete with billions of nodes representing every person on the Earth.
DeepMind AI, they're working on building a digital brain and quantum technology in addition to Google. Google has almost the biometrics of entire humanity, the digital footprints. The algorithms have connected to the ecosystem for 20 years of the human race. They know how people think, what their wants are.
We're all collectively programming the AI, and Google plus all the humans that connect to it are one giant cybernetic collective, where we're all sort of plugged in as like nodes on the network, like leaves on a big tree.
A human mass-machine interface to be able to predict the future and then control the future. That's in the founding documents of Google.
Your personality, your memories, who you are, the essence of your soul, would be incorporated in this disk as pure information.
With their hopes, their dreams, all their actions, dial it into all the other machines and computers, and have a lifetime model of the world.
So the artificial neurointelligence is sort of getting to the level of becoming artificial general intelligence with the quantum technology. So if you have quantum technology and you take the humanity's information, data, knowledge, and you compress it down into a digital brain or even into a physical robotics or machine, that information can exponentially increase the knowledge and capability of Google to a level that can almost become God.
What they're going to do is apply this machine to an area that I think is fundamentally important. It's the crux of our future as humans, and that's, can we build machines like us?
So Google was set up 18, 19 years ago to build a giant artificial supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity, with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it.
So imagine a digital brain that connects to the entire planet and all people. The frequencies from this digital brain, this quantum technology, would be dispatched to your smartphones, your IoT devices, or if you're cybernetically enhanced or cybernetically changed, command centers, network grids. That information would connect your neural networks, and it would begin a process of replication. What do I mean by that? So it starts to bio-digitally social programming. Bio means your biology. Digital covers your neural networks. If you believe in a religion, it covers your soul. Social covers your emotions or your social network or your social media. Programming is programming. Bio-digital social programming. The entire human race on the 5G network will be bio-digitally social programmed. Their thoughts, their brain chemistry, their neural networks completely replaced with a 5G system that comes from the data and the artificial intelligence directed from Google's DeepMind and the quantum technology. So humanity will no longer be themselves. It will be a program subservient of Google's system.
The OS will evolve to become one universal format for the whole world and will turn into a kind of connective tissue of everything in our lives. So, since 2016, Google has been working on the Fuchsia OS, which was conceived as a universal platform that can work with different types of devices. It collects data about you day and night in order to optimize your interaction with various devices. It understands you from a half word, half gesture, and even a half glance. Fiction, you say? Bill Gates will object. According to him, in 10 years, 90% of an OS will be occupied with solving pattern recognition problems. That is, neurocomputing is coming to the fore. It's likely that such artificial intelligence will communicate not only with its owner and interact with data, but will also establish its own data. This will lead to the emergence of a new social order on the web, with new rules of how to interact. As a result, OSs that make decisions on behalf of a user in a social environment must acquire the attributes of human personality.
In the mirror world, everything will have a paired twin. NASA engineers pioneered this concept in the 1960s. By keeping a duplicate of any machine they sent into space, they could troubleshoot a malfunctioning component while its counterpart was thousands of miles away. These twins evolved into computer simulations, digital twins. Eventually, everything will have a digital twin. This is happening faster than you may think.
We will begin with the mouse, we will practice with the mouse, and we will put the brain, this digital brain, onto a virtual mouse. And right now, the mouse does not do anything really interesting, but the first thing it did is to start to dance. This is a virtual mouse, and it's going to behave in a virtual environment, and gradually it will learn all the things that mice know how to do.
We have good enough models of all the kinds of brain cells and a good enough model of a brain. We can put it together to make a good enough model of an entire brain, and that model would have the same input-output behavior as the original. So if you talk to it, it might talk back. If you ask it to do things, it might do them. If we could do that, everything would change.
This is an article from 10 years ago. Sentient World, War Games on the Grandest Scale. The DoD is developing a parallel to planet Earth with billions of individual nodes to reflect every man, woman and child this side of the dividing line between reality and AR.
We want to be able to use those parallel universes to compute things that then come back and affect us and answer questions in ours.
Humans have their own unique resonance signatures based on their body mass and composition, as well as brain print signatures.
And what we are trying to do here, your friends and family, this organization, is to use this precious knowledge to build machines that can actually create, manipulate, and use these parallel realities in the service of this one. We want to grab those parallel realities from this abstract space in which they live and crunch them down into this chip.
When you clone a brain, brainwaves, and it's more complicated than I'm describing, but you are able to see what the other person is seeing, and you're able to hear what the other person's hearing, as well as influence them.
So we'll be able to start exploring and get inside the brain. You see, today I cannot get inside your brain to see how it works. I can measure it from the outside, but I can't get inside and look at what you see. But with this, you'll be able to step inside a brain and look at how it builds a world.
Every human being will become a node and a sensor on the geographic information grid. Now, what does that mean? They become a node and a sensor. A sensor, in other words, they want to get to the point where they can map the individual's mind and they can actually use that person as a sensor. So there's a two-way communication between the supercomputers, let's say, and us. And it's not just TIs.
This technology can also tap into the optical nerve of the target and the auditory system of the target, so that those monitoring the target can see what the target is seeing and hear what the target is hearing. This information is then downloaded and stored on a computer in a highly secure, classified site on servers that are guarded by some of the tightest security in the world. This results in the individual's entire day, everything they see, everything they hear, everything they experience, and everything they feel being recorded till the end of time.
To recreate a map that is as big as the globe, in 3D no less, you need to photograph all places and things from every possible angle all the time, which means you need to have a planet full of cameras that are always on. Everything connected to the internet will be connected to the mirror world, and anything connected to the mirror world will see and be seen by everything else in this interconnected environment.
This was a white paper put out by Purdue University in 2006, and the Sentient World Simulation, SWS, went live in 2007, which represents every person on the planet within this computer matrix as a node, and every node is given an avatar, an identifier. And that is real-time, 24/7 monitoring of every person on the planet. This is primarily, but not exclusively, facilitated by the adiabatic quantum computers produced by D-Wave Corporation.
As I said, spying is the big thing. The wording's changed quite a bit. They used to call it psi warfare, psychic warfare, and those have different meanings, different people, but the concepts have been proven over and over again. That another movie like Avatar, it's sort of like that experience where you're living in someone else's mind or body. And they use sensory deprivation tanks. The brain will self-organize with external stimulus signals, be it from another person, if their own body isn't being provided any stimulus. So the dreams become reality.
It's an engineered thing which has become a nexus point for all of these parallel realities. The shadows of all of these different universes intersect at a physical point inside of one of those boxes. You can think of it as a portal.
We talk often about the quantum computers, the kind of ability they've got to map and model humanity itself because of this Internet of Things that is all around us now as well. We're feeding all of our information back into this quantum computer that's basically got a virtual world where all of us have a digital avatar in there. They're able to manipulate the digital avatar in a virtual world, and that's actually translated to effects in the real world.
In fact, the only way that the technology really works effectively is the bidirectional communication. So it involves the most invasive form of privacy as well as control.
This has been going in parallel development to the model numbers of the D-Wave computers. They work lockstep because the adiabatic quantum computers runs the sentient world simulation, which also encompasses Palantir, which we have talked about. This is the new surveillance system that has subsystems all built within it from the intelligence agencies around the world. So SWS is what is manipulating people. And Kev, you said it, the avatars and the nodes, when those are manipulated digitally in the simulation, it manifests physically in the human brain and the physical body. Outside of the SWS, it is like pulling strings. It is like a puppet on a string.
And we're talking about a technology that works both ways, scanning minds and, of course, implanting a thought. I guess you would say it's similar to a set of headphones that you can both hear the acoustic sound and, of course, use them as a double application as a microphone.
Basically all the senses of the body. So the personality overlays, that's basically a recording. You're recording a person that's in a specific emotional state. So say rage, or even something as simple as stubbed your toe, or morning sickness, or you've got a cold. You can take that raw sensory information and then process it into a way that it generally fits into any bioelectrical system. And so you provide a bioelectrical input to the body, and then that person will experience that physical sensation that has been recorded previously. We have, like in the movie industry, they have what they call a Foley artist, and they have just libraries of all the different sounds that you could possibly want to use in a movie, or say like stock video footage. Something that's in a library of information that can be used. Well, this program uses the same sort of library. It's a pre-planned existing library of information that can be played onto a person's bioelectrical system.
Every human function has been mapped out to some extent, and that we are all just slight variances from some mean. You map out the cognitive model of the average human, you can influence almost everybody on Earth to some degree.
Highly technical program. All of the symptoms are induced by a technology that is so fucking sophisticated, it is horrifying beyond description. This technology can be used to beam images and even motion pictures into one's brain. Images and motion pictures that are so realistic that you think you're actually watching a movie or seeing something in reality. It's like a virtual reality 3D rendering that takes place within the target's mind. This technology can also be used to control the muscle movement of the target. It can take over one's hands or feet while driving and make you press on the accelerator or press on the brake or turn. This can be used to cause accidents. It can also be used to prevent accidents from happening. This technology can also tap into the optical nerve of the target and the auditory system of the target, so that those monitoring the target can see what the target is seeing and hear what the target is hearing. This information is then downloaded and stored on a computer in a highly secure, classified site on servers that are guarded by some of the tightest security in the world. This results in the individual's entire day, everything they see, everything they hear, everything they experiment, everything they experience, and everything they feel being recorded till the end of time. This technology can also be used to manipulate the emotions of the target. It can induce fear, love, hate. It can cause you to be nervous. It can cause you to be confident. It can cause you to be depressed. It can cause you to be happy. It can cause you to feel any fucking emotion at any time by artificially inducing them. This technology can also be used to induce and control dreams. It can be used to control dream cycles and sleep patterns, to cause one to sleep very deeply or to cause one to not sleep at all. And this technology can also be used to mimic spiritual experiences. Joy, love, peace that passes understanding can all be induced artificially by this technology to make the target believe that they are having a genuine spiritual experience when they're not. This technology can also be used to read the thoughts of the target verbatim as they occur within your own mind. This technology is so advanced and so sensitive that it can literally make you attracted to another human being and make another human being attracted to you. And in this way, they are playing matchmaker. They are playing Cupid and actually getting couples together and making them fall in love. They are also doing the opposite. They are also breaking couples up. They are breaking up families, husbands and wives. They are breaking up children from their parents. They are breaking up businesses and corporations. They are using this to manipulate society on every level for their own benefit and gain. And they are doing so with an attitude of complete immaturity and, for lack of a better word, downright evil. It is infuriating. It is highly, highly illegal, and it must be stopped now. They're looking at this as a massive game and a massive joke that they're playing on the target and the American people. It's horrible. It's horrifying. And it is a crime against humanity. This is something that needs to be dealt with in the Geneva Convention. This is something that needs to be dealt with in international courts. This is something that needs to be dealt with first and foremost by the Supreme Court of the United States. This is something that needs to be dealt with until we get to that point at the local and the state level. This is something that needs to be tackled by lawyers and civil rights advocates immediately. We need laws right fucking now to stop this thing, because it is out of control and it is only getting worse. The entire population of the United States of America could conceivably be controlled by this one day. And I know for a fact, having been an insider and actually been a part of this program and seen it operate on a day-to-day basis, I am aware that there are now entire cities in America that are nothing more but a massive social engineering experiment. Because instead of using this, as most people think, just against the individual, the targeted individual, there are applications of this technology that utilize it against entire populations. Anywhere from small groups of people, 10 to 20 to 100, to medium-sized groups of people, several thousand to tens of thousands. This is done by creating a field effect, where an entire field of electromagnetic energy is created in a geographical location, and any human being within that geographical location, within the electromagnetic field affecting that geographical location, will be affected by the technology. This can be used to induce a general mood in a population or a crowd of people. It can be used to make them passive it can be used to make them agitated. And this can be used to cause or stop, induce riots, stop crime, start crime, stop thoughts, start thoughts. Massive mind control on a citywide level.